Hi there, Sharleen. How are you?
I'm very well.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today. So firstly, I just wondered how you actually got into the music scene.
It's weird because I didn't really get into it. It was I wasn't on the music scene at all, but I'd always sung and played guitar from a kid.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I never at any point thought I'm going to be a musician.
Yeah.
And it was basically a friend of mine who used to play five-a-side football with the guys that I shared a flat with.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, "Hey, Sharleen, this guy wants me to ask you, I know you can sing, and he wanted to know if you want to like form a band or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, I'll meet him." He's like, "Okay, yeah, turn up and go and see him." And that was, and I never turned up because I was working as a hairdresser at that point.
Right.
And I was a bit like, "Hey, whatever." And then I got this phone call saying, "No, this," because I thought it was a wind-up. And then I got a phone call saying, "No, this is serious." And I turned up, and I met Johnny, who is the bass player and my songwriting partner in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh my God, I know you. You're like in Hitsway and Altered Images." And he's like all a bit embarrassed and shy. And I was like,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And he's like, "Yeah, we're no longer, Hipsy split up and whatever. And, you up for doing some writing together?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Wow.
And that was basically how Texas was formed.
Where did you get the inspiration for the band name?
We took it from the movie Paris, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of like, Johnny and I met. It wasn't like we went to school together or grew up together or anything. It was literally like I was 17 years old, just about to turn 18. Johnny was a couple of years older than me. And when we started writing, we were kind of like, we were sitting in a room together, and we got into discussion about Paris, Texas, the movie.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, and I was like, I love Paris, Texas," and blah, 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 blah. And basically what happened is the soundtrack to Paris, Texas by Ry Cooder became the inspiration for the first song we wrote together, which was a song called "I Don't Want a Lover."
Oh, right. Brilliant.
And we wrote "I Don't Want a Lover," and we were like, we should call ourselves Texas, because it was one of those things where, when you're like, you think you're really smart when you're young, and you kind of go, "Oh yeah, that would be hysterical." We're Scottish and we're from Glasgow, and Texas is like wide open, big spaces and open sounds and all this, and we were kind of thinking that kind of summed that up.
Yeah.
Little did we know that eventually, when the band did take off, that we would go to America, and people were like, "So you're a country band?" And we were like, "Fuck, no, we're not country band," So it was like one of those ones.
You mentioned obviously you were a hairdresser before you formed Texas. Was it a tough decision to leave a full-time career behind to then become a full-time musician?
No, I was like 17, just about to turn 18. I thought the world was my oyster. I was literally like, "I'm going to be in a band, yes!" It was like, no, I didn't. I remember going to my boss and saying, because I was on the artistic team at Irvin Rusks, and I used to like travel with them, like do shows in New York and Italy and stuff like that. So yeah, I had a pretty cushy job.
Yeah.
And I remember going to my boss and saying, to Rita and Irvin, and saying, "Listen, and we'd done the demo tapes and everything by this point, and we were getting signed. So I was basically keeping that big secret for about a year, whilst writing songs and, just, making demos and everything. And I was working, I was like, after work at night, I would go and do Texas stuff. And then eventually when it was all done and we got signed, I went to my boss and said, "Look, I'm leaving, and I'm going to go and be in a band." She's like, "Oh my God, how exciting!" And I played her and Irvin the music, and they were like, and at the time we had on, "I Don't Want a Lover" was on the demo, and Every Day Now and stuff, and I played them, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's so exciting." And
that must have been a really proud moment for you.
Yeah, this is if it ever doesn't work out, your job's always here for you.
That's lovely. That's really nice.
30 years later, I've still not taken it back.
Well, that's a good sign, I think.
Hopefully.
Won't change my mind, I feel the same about you. And you can tell me your reasons, but it won't change my feelings. I feel the same about you.
Actually, one of my readers has asked me to ask you what hair products you use, because they said that your hair always looks so lovely.
Yeah, that is, yeah. Why have I not got one of those? Why have you got all these people with like long flowing hair and all these bloody hair adverts? And everybody loves my hair, and I've never had a hair advert in my life.
Ah, well, maybe you never know what's around the corner.
They never use people with dark hair. You always want some pretty blonde. So what do I use in my hair? I use a Bumble and Bumble product. That's it's called what's it called? It's the sea thing. It's like salt. It's a sea salt kind of like stuff to put in your hair. It makes it all kind of like separate and makes it really dirty. It makes your hair look like you've been swimming in the sea and you've
Sort
come
of beachy.
out.
Yeah.
So it all joins up and goes a bit matted.
Ah, well, I think it looks great anyway, and so do our readers.
What you want, but I won't change my mind. I feel the same about you. And you can tell me your reasons, but I won't change.
Growing up, what would you say your music influences were?
My music influences were The Clash, Echo and the Bunnymen, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Mahalia Jackson, Marvin Gaye, Al Green, Staple Singers, Diana Ross, all that kind of stuff.
The legends, basically.
Yeah.
I've opened the door, here comes the summer sun. He burns my skin.
Say What You Want, which was actually one of the first singles I bought as a youngster, was a huge success at the time. And I just wondered how it actually felt to, obviously have such a successful record out, and, what was going through your head at the time?
Well, it's funny because there's almost like periods to Texas. So like when we had our first success, it was 1989 when we released I Do What I Love at Southside, and then the whole sort of Manchester scene and everything happened, and we literally like just sort of like we were sort of swept under the carpet in the UK. But lucky enough, we were very, very successful in Europe. So that allowed us to continue making records, because we were shifting shitloads of records in the rest of Europe, but basically couldn't get arrested in the UK.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of like, we were a bit like, fuck it, we're relevant, like we should be, like, we want to make records and we want to have success here. And we just, like, I remember when our record company were a bit like, yeah, whatever, in the UK, and we just knuckled down and we made White on Blonde, and we wrote Say What You Want. And I remember, like, the record company being like, fucking hell, where did they come from? It was a bit like that.
Yeah.
And it felt like it felt like great satisfaction. That's what it felt like.
Before you take my heart, reconsider. Before you take my heart, reconsider.
Things changed in your life in 2002 when you gave birth to your daughter Misty. It didn't stop you from working on your next album though. So was it hard to balance motherhood and still pursue your career?
No, because the reality is that, people kind of ask that question about we do, but the reality is that I pick and choose when I want to go to work.
Yeah.
And if I want to take my kid with me to work, she goes with me. It's like, so I had a baby and I would go to the studio and, I was still breastfeeding and everything, and I would just have like our little buggy or our little chair and just go to the studio, and it's like, it's like in the studio, it's like there's loads of quiet rooms and bits in it. And she grew up, like, even as a toddler, I'll get photographs of sitting in guitar cases and stuff.
It must have been actually really nice growing up like that.
It was kind of like, it was never, it was never because basically she adapted to my lifestyle and my job, but I wasn't in a job where I had to do a certain amount of hours and I couldn't have my child with me. So for me, I was very, very lucky, and at the point when she got older and I needed help, I was able to afford to bring in a nanny as well, which hysterically was the thing that I said, I'll never get a nanny. And of course, she gets to like a year old and I'm like, yep, I need a nanny.
Bright light city, your religion.
You reformed with Texas in 2013. What was the decision behind this, and how did that come about?
We didn't reform. We just hadn't broke up. We just had a long break.
Had a break. Yeah, no, that's
and plus our guitar player Ali had a grade 5 brain aneurysm as well.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he was in a coma for I think 6 months, and then he was in hospital for a year after that.
Wow.
So that was the reason why we didn't tour.
Yeah.
For quite a big gap.
Your latest album, Jump On Board, was recently released. And can we expect anything different on this album? Does it have the same Texas sound, or have you gone for sort of a different feel for this one?
Well, really, that's for you to listen and find out for yourself. But
of course.
It's a very positive record. I would say that there's a lot more of a sort of disco element to it.
Yeah.
We tried to make a record that was, that moment where you're just kind of standing in your kitchen and you just kind of lose yourself in kind of grooving and dancing into a song. It's that kind of record.
Brilliant. One with a glass of wine in hand as well.
Absolutely, that's it. It's one of those ones where I always find if you can point your finger in a song, it's always a good sign.
You're doing a few shows near us though, by in East Anglia.
We're in Newmarket on the 28th of July.
Yeah.
And then we've got that. So we've got the Newmarket gig on the 20th of July, but then we're doing Cambridge on the 12th of September and Ipswich on the 15th of September.
Brilliant. And you played back in Newmarket in 2011, is that right? And I just wondered, is there anything different this year that we can expect? Obviously, you've got a new album and you've got more songs behind you, but what can people expect to see?
An unbelievable show, and all I would say is bring your fascinator.
Oh, brilliant. And will you be placing any bets while you're visiting?
Always. The bet is that we'll have an unbelievable show.
Ah, that's brilliant. Well, I'm going to pop along, so I'm looking forward to seeing it myself.
Well, come and say hi when you come.
That
okay?
would be great. Yeah.
Black light soul, you should know that there's nowhere else to go. My black-eyed boy, you will find.
This is a really bizarre last question to have, but it was so random that I really wanted to ask you.
Okay,
one of our readers have asked, and this is a non-music related question. Do you like cheese? And if so, what's your favourite cheese? And I thought
I absolutely love cheese, and I love truffle brie.
Truffle brie. Well, I will relay that information back. I do like to do my readers justice by asking the questions, so they'll be very happy to know.
A random question, but I love random. That
Brilliant.
is cool.
Me too. Well, thank
All
you
right, lovely
ever
to
so
speak to
much.
you, Rachel. Thank you very much.
And best of luck with everything. And
Thank you,
it's
and
great
for
to
you.
speak to you.